You're listening to Next Gen Media.
Coming to you from the Apogee Grafix studios, this is the Business and Beyond podcast on Next Gen Media. I'm Ashton.
I'm Tony.
I'm Patrick.
Patrick is with us since...
It's been about 30 episodes.
It's been a lot of episodes since we were in the old studio at the beginning. I want to say episode 4.
Super early.
I don't know. I hadn't fact-checked that. Maybe fake news.
He eerily knows that was episode 4.
Yeah, he's saying...
Well, I didn't know until I asked what did we talk about, and you said...
Maybe that was his favorite episode.
Or still our lowest rated episode. Wait, why did we bring you back?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, see,
numbers go here, and then they start going here.
That was y'all's mistake. I wasn't.
We can pick the thumbnail on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna take a picture with you not in it, just in case.
That way
blur him out. Blur him out.
And I'm not gonna put your. I'm not gonna put you anywhere in the title. So they've already clicked. They're committed. They gave us the click. See, we're clickbait here.
I mean, what you should have done is just left me out of it for like the first 10 minutes, and then bring me in. That way, you're already getting the play count.
That's right, suckers. Well, no, it counts to. It'll tell us how long the average person listens, and which surprisingly is. Well, I haven't checked it in a while, but I do know that Anchor has in their statistics. You know, they have states and countries that listen. They have planets too.
Planets?
I sent you that picture, didn't you?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
I sent you.
Remember?
I sent it to you
me.
because I was messing around and seeing if anybody, because we're
100% on Earth, I assume.
on Earth, yeah.
Well, but if Elon Musk gets what he wants, we'll have 1% on Mars.
I took a picture and I
as
said,
soon as they set up live.
Is that where his Tesla is stopping? Like, or is it going to
what they're
head to
talking about?
Saturn?
Is
Like,
I'll jump on there. Tell me.
They were talking about they were going to.
you know what?
He wants to establish.
There is. He has an internet company, a satellite internet company. Maybe he's providing internet to that Tesla. Like, we just need him to remote in and download. The podcast.
I sent you this.
On
You
there.
responded to it.
Oh, okay.
I said, I think Anchor knows something we don't. Yeah, it says
yeah.
Earth 100%, then Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter.
I can say you're going to freak out the day that you see something on another planet.
On another planet?
Well, Anchor's just going to start putting that information. No, I used to brag because we used to be in more countries than states. Because we still are 7 countries, but now we are in, I think, 9 states.
That
Florida.
looks like more than 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah. Man, we got a lot more since I checked earlier today. Well, we recently had Florida and Illinois. And we have quite a few more in Texas.
I think you're going to piss off the people in Illinois, aren't you? Because since it's Illinois...
Did I say Illinois?
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know why I said that. I know it's Illinois. I said Illinois. I was reading it. That's what it was. It's like Teja. Let's just call it Teja, not Texas. Like, quit putting letters in your state that you don't want us to say, like Arkansas. It's
Arkansas.
Do you know what Tennessee? What did Tennessee? The same thing, Arkansas. See, when we do our dad joke video, that's a ding. Yeah, that's a little ding. Hey, you're here. We can finally get that set up. We need a third person to hit that, or we'll do the beer can. And I got a second one because y'all both laughed.
I don't think that was a laugh.
Yeah, that was...
Both of y'all laughed.
That was almost we're in disbelief that you even...
That was hilarious. Come on. Okay, so Patrick's here. Hadn't been here for 30 episodes just because he's in high demand. It's hard to get him here. Well, not that people want you. You're just so far away.
I'm in as much demand as, certain commodities these days.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how much we're paying him. That's where I was going with this. You wouldn't believe how much we're paying him to be here.
Outrageous amounts.
Hot commodities. Speaking of...
Like Tim Cook level amounts.
I don't know who that is.
Well, before we get into commodities, the reason he's such a hot commodity... See what I did there? Works for...
He's sexy?
I don't know, can we say where he works? Can we?
I tend to not to. Just because there's a whole lot
for
of
an
compliance stuff for it.
investment company. So, as you know, the way the stock market's going, investing's going, they're quite busy these days.
Mm.
So,
And
Just
he's
throwing that out there.
and he's in a position where he's not supposed to give financial advice. So every time I call him about my investments, I tell him, I know you're not supposed to give me financial advice. I acknowledge that. Go ahead. Here's my question. I did this morning. I called him. We're setting my new job of doing the 401k stuff. I called him, and that's the first thing. Here's a disclaimer. I know you're not supposed to give me that. I understand that. Blah blah blah. Now here's my question.
Literally what he said after I said hello. That was he would like his response was, I know you're not.
I was just getting past the garbage because as soon as I said I would ask you the question, you would say, well, technically I'm not supposed to give you advice, but then he goes along and gives me advice.
It's working out for me so far.
Hey, man, it's worked out.
It's all kind of common sense.
I'm still waiting for that rollover, that 401k. They don't want to let go of that money. Mm-hmm. They want to hang on to it
because they're making that fee.
Yeah, they don't want to let it go.
It's still vested though, right?
Yeah, still.
Okay, so you're still making money. It just until it's combined with your other one.
Yeah,
it's not
really
at
the rate that I am going to have it set up
to try and have it too. Yeah.
But back to commodities. Do you want to?
Yeah, if you had noticed, maybe if you've been living under a rock, trying to buy stuff, pretty much anything these days has been, if not very troublesome, it's been very expensive.
Very expensive.
I know in my industry, I've just switched jobs, but basically what I'm doing at the new job is still kind of the same industry. In building materials, lumber more especially, it's both hard to get unless you're Home Depot, Lowe's, Builders First Source 84 lumber. Yeah, and the cost is outrageous. Before this year, like last year when costs started going up, we really benefited from it because our rates went up, but we still had old pricing from inventory we had bought, so we were making high margin. Mm-hmm. But now nobody's winning. Yeah, and now builders are starting to add more to houses. I mean, new houses are going up on average $20,000, depending on how big the house is, how much it costs in the first place. Most of which is plywood. I mean, gosh, everybody knows about plywood.
Did you see it was a picture floating around from a Home Depot in Canada. A sheet of $3/4. Yeah, a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood. Of course, we're not too far behind that.
Yeah, 3/4 inch is a lot thicker. It's not the most common size. You're looking at 11 7/8. I still got different lumber on my mind. 7/16 is your average, or is your common thickness. And probably before all this started, you're looking at maybe $10. I mean, Home Depot, you could probably get it for $8. But now that's $40 to $50, depending on where you get it. You could probably get it $60 if you buy it from a small enough place. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 3/4 inch, I don't know off the top of my head, but probably in the 70s. Yeah. But it's gotten outrageous. And I mean, I know concrete is up there. I had somebody texting me today asking about the lumber market. Do we know when it's going down? And it started to go down for a little while. It had a huge spike, and then it steadied out. And I said, yeah, now that they got the vaccine out and COVID cases are down, it's probably going to start turning down. But then it shot back up. Yeah. And I basically said, when COVID's over, that's when it's going to be. Because now it's not so much the supply being low, or it is the supply being low, but before it was mills could only be at half capacity, and they could only get so much out. But now
the demand's
the demand's been up. At least here in Texas, it's never stopped. But the mills know that they are trying to milk this for everything. So it's hard to tell. Is it being able to get the people in the building, because mills are all over the place. At my old job, we'd buy it from Canada, California, Oregon. Yeah. Who knows? It's hard to tell what laws are in there, or how many people you could have, and all the COVID laws. But now they're holding people back, like saying, slow down, let's not do this because we can keep the prices up. And they're actually I don't know if it's the Builders Association or the Lumbermen's Association, looking for the government to do something, basically saying you have to meet this demand just so prices will come down.
Well, and that the problem is going to be when the construction doesn't slow down, when the demand never slows down. If it continues, then everything just continues to rise with it. Like you said, lumber was one of the first that had the spikes in prices and some of the shortages. I'm in the electrical industry, so dealing with wire, steel pipe, PVC pipe. So we were getting PVC pipe about 6 months ago, the end of last year. A 4-inch, one stick of PVC, 4-inch, was about $18 a stick, my cost. This week, it's up to $58 a stick.
And services are doing that too. And I know some framers, maybe not all, but framers are taking advantage of it and saying, hey, everything's going up.
My wages need to go up. I actually just had a conversation today with my office in California, and that's what the discussion was, is if materials continue to go up, the cost of building these projects continues to go up, and they're going to continue to award them, our guys are going to come to us and say, hey, you know what, everything's higher, it's more expensive for us to live, gas is more, hey, we need to make more. And that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's what we are preparing ourselves for now. So, you know, to say, when's it going to stop? I don't know. It could not stop, or
it would have to crash.
I really think
the market would have to crash.
And that's what I believe is going to happen. It's either it's going to continue just to grow and never stop, and that's just going to be the new normal, or it's going to grow to a point that it implodes on itself, and the whole market is destroyed, and then it'll have to rebuild from the bottom.
Yeah, because back in 2008, it was a financial issue. Mm-hmm. It was hard to... loans were the problem.
Yeah.
And I remember guys talking about when all that happened in 2008, they would just have lumber yards full of plywood, and they would sell them for half price, just get it out of here.
Yeah.
Now it's the exact opposite. It's easy to get finance for things.
Yeah.
It's the materials down.
And
obviously it's the pandemic that did it.
Yeah.
But, excuse me, if there's not something manufactured in there, like a government order, which typically I'm not a huge favor of government overreach. It's like a necessary evil. There has to be certain. You know, we can go off on a long tangent there, but I'm sort of in favor for this because I don't think it's ever going to go down to where it was without the market crashing. It's going to say, okay, this is outrageous. You have to do this. You have to do this, and they say, okay, and you meet a happy medium. The plywood comes down to where it was $10, maybe $15 to $20, which I remember people freaking out. Some of my customers freaking out when it hit $20.
Well, it's kind of back when there were the gas years ago when the gas wars. You know, gas was up to $4 a gallon. You know,
and they were predicting,
thought, oh my God, it's never going to come down.
They were predicting $12.
I mean, what is it now? I really don't even know.
It was, I think last time $2.30. I think it was like $2.48 last time I got it.
So
depending on where you are, California.
Now at that time when it was on the rise, we were like, oh my God, you know, $2.50 was even going to be high. I mean, it peaked out at somewhere in the $4 or $5 a gallon range. But now you're like, oh, okay, I'll take it. Like even with this, you're paying $50 or $60 for a sheet of plywood. You'll be happy to pay $20 a sheet of plywood if it'll just come down to that. I mean, that's.
I mean, yeah, I had guys freaking out about that. But if I was allowed to, at my old job, sell $20 sheet of plywood, heck, I could get. I'd make my quota. I'd triple my quota.
Yeah.
Of what I was supposed to sell. Everybody would come to me if I could sell a house for that much, but we were buying it for more than that. The lumber yards were buying it for more than $20 a sheet. Sorry, I keep stumbling over myself because I'm used to talking per thousand, and I'm trying to keep going back to dollars. But
well, and according to the National Association of Home Builders, I'm talking about just specifically lumber in general, since April of 2020, since like basically the beginning of the pandemic, lumber prices have tripled. Adding on average about $24,000 to the cost of building a home. Like a
that's what I said, about $20,000. Yeah. So before they weren't adding that to
and that's in a 1 year period.
Yeah.
That you've
last year they weren't adding that. They were just taking the hit.
So
we
what's
were
also
taking hits.
What it's also doing is the existing homes that you're selling now are going for over asking. I mean, there are bidding wars to get those homes. Because people that would want to go and build a new home can't afford to do it, so you're better off going and way overpaying for a home.
Right, and right now with interest rates as low as they are, everyone is like, this is the time to buy a house because if you can get approved super low, that's where you want it.
And that might be the saving grace of the industry, is that it's not just supplies down; its demand has never been high. I mean, we've had a couple customers, 2020, they broke records. And it had nothing to do with the pandemic. It was just happening. At least in Texas, they broke records on house builds for that year. So, and now it's impossible. I mean, if you're selling a house, it's on the market for 2 hours. Again, that's here in Texas. I don't know nationwide what that average is. And I was talking in orientation, my new job with one guy. I think he was in South Carolina, and he's talking about in his neighborhood they built last year, and next door they're building, someone's building, and it's about 600 square foot smaller, and it's about $30,000 more expensive than his house was in 1 year, and a smaller house.
Mm-hmm.
So the saving grace may be, okay, they can't agree to build the house because people are going to say, okay, well, it took 3 months to build our house. Once we do the contract, it's probably a 6 month process.
Yeah.
When they start putting that out for a year, okay, we can build your house. It'll be a year from now. And people are going to be like, maybe I'll wait. The prices are so high, so, maybe you wait for the market to crash, or in a couple years you go, it's cheaper if you can hold off. So maybe the demand goes down a little bit, and then prices have to fall.
That's what we need to see. Demands go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, which unfortunately with everyone being at home, like it's the lumber,
right.
Affects more than just home building. Because like I'm moving soon, so I'm buying new furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Furniture's back ordered because you need lumber to construct the frames and things like that. So like going to like Nebraska Furniture Mart, I went and I found a couch I like. The earliest that said I could get it was the end of August.
Yeah.
And you're looking at, maybe not furniture as much, but people just buying a lot more things since the pandemic started. Mm-hmm. So you get supply, other than Amazon, you did amazing, but you're talking about supply chains are being taken up. What is it? We were looking for one part that Patrick eventually gave us, just one little box that normally was about $15. I ended up sucking it up. I couldn't find it for $80 to $100. Patrick finally found it for I think $50.
I think it was like 40
or
something
something like that. I said, screw it, I'll just buy it. 3 months later, still didn't have it. Yeah. So Patrick said, well, I have that part. We're not doing any shows in this studio. Take it. So I just canceled the order. So I chalked that up to podcasting is really popular right now. It was on the upswing. Pandemic, a lot more people started.
After we were set up, we would go back and look at some of those parts and products, and the prices just skyrocketed on them.
So,
and soundboards and all of that, just the prices went insane.
And so I'm not totally convinced that it's not, like I said, with framers upping their prices. People are just saying, it's back ordered just so they can up their price. And
there's something even like damn near a year now. I've been looking for the ultra widescreen monitor for my computer. Can't find them. Can't find them anywhere.
Yeah, and you could backtrack that.
And
there's
one be back ordered, and then I'd look at them and they might be in stock, and then before I could even add it to a cart, it's back out.
Like Patrick said, with lumber and furniture, there's probably some piece in the monitor.
I'm sure TV. Yeah,
you need silicone. You need the computer chips, which that's the same reason why you can't get a PS5 right now. Sony doesn't have enough supply of computer chips.
That's BS. They just said that we were only going to start with so many because they know people would do it and buy it for $800, and you never know.
Too bad Sony's not the one price gouging. Like, if Sony really wanted the money, they would. But other people.
If we could legitimately say you can't listen to Business and Beyond podcast, but once every 3 months, unless you pay us, we could probably make money off of that. But it's not legitimate. This doesn't stop this is a service or an entertainment. This has nothing to do with.
Speaking of, hit subscribe.
Yeah,
help the numbers
wherever.
If
you're pointing, it's YouTube. Down. If you're
below.
Watching on YouTube, wherever you're listening, hit subscribe as well.
We need to set up a
Patreon account. I was looking at the camera.
Well, they can't. That's only YouTube. They can't.
Yeah, I was looking at the camera, so people on YouTube would know I'm looking at them.
No.
Hit subscribe.
And we'll add the subscribe button right underneath.
That's it. I'm back now. What was it we were saying? This is way off.
We were talking about...
No, we talked a couple weeks ago. We were watching a video. It was a really terrible video, and he was laughing. But there was one thing. I'll say this, and they'll have no clue what I'm talking about. We'll just start laughing. And I'll tell you why it was that, but it was something when I was 9 years old.
I was 9 years old.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's going to be for Business and Beyond After Dark.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to be like a real. We'll probably put explicit on this, but that's gonna be a real explicit show.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the. Hey, Patrick, what are you drinking? Are you drinking an alcoholic beverage?
Yeah.
You have alcohol in there?
Yeah, I got some Bacardi.
Oh wow, we all have 3 different drinks. Bacardi. I'm drinking Woodford Reserve that I just bought today.
I got the good old TX.
I'm just waiting for our new whiskey batch to be ready.
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow. go ahead and explain what it is while I put this up here. Hint, hint. Come on, TX.
So
Pick up
I
the
guess
bar.
we could just do this if that sounds
Yeah, if that's how it's going to be. We're looking for a new whiskey sponsor, local, small. If you want to send us a bottle. But anyways, Patrick, go ahead.
So we're trying a new flavor this time. So this is a Indian molasses. So it's supposed to be kind of like the whiskey you get out of India, or something similar to like a Scotch.
So no Irish whiskey like we
It's
normally
a
have. Well, technically Irish.
30-day.
Yeah, it's
21, 21
day.
3 weeks. Tomorrow will be the third week. Or the,
Yeah. You can do
3
it
weeks.
as a 4 week, so like a 28 day. But and we one of the batches we're gonna do we may do that.
So we can
Just
see,
to see how it turns out.
Sorry. Down there, that little area, there's that barrel. We're distilling.
Not for sale, only for personal consumption.
Wink, wink.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. No, if anybody wants to try it, if you're local, I mean, come over here and try it. I'm not going to charge anybody yet. Until we perfect
We
it.
will card, though. It must be of drinking age.
Somewhere. Drinking age somewhere.
Even drinking age in
Somewhere in one of the
Mexico.
countries that listens to us.
Let's see.
You
We have
identify as a person from a
England.
country that's...
England, Australia, Belgium.
I believe the Belgian
Austria?
drinking age is fairly low.
Yeah, if you want to say you're from Belgium, learn their accent. You don't have to speak. Well, they speak Belgian. Is that a language?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe in English.
Belgian drinking age is 16.
There you go. So if you're Belgian, maybe we're in Belgium. I don't know.
Oh,
We know a lot about Texas, but that didn't mean we're
interesting. So drinking age is 16 if you are buying a mixed drink that has alcohol in it, but if you're buying just the alcohol itself, it would be 18.
Here. That makes
That's
absolutely
no
no
sense at all.
Yeah.
Well, we'll give you Patrick's drink. It's mixed,
Yeah, there you go.
but we are not from Texas. Do you have a Belgian shirt? Anywho,
That's like the guys that like
luckily-
street racers, and they're like, "Yeah, we're here racing in Mexico." Wink, wink. Mexico, there's no speed limit, so we can race here.
or Germany, the Autobahn.
Yeah.
So luckily, we got on that little alcohol tangent. Alcohol hasn't seen a big spike. At least not. I mean, that bottle of Woodford Reserve
Yeah, no.
at most
price-wise,
places
you
are
mean?
about $40. Alvarado, I didn't know they sold at that liquor store, and it's a liquor store, but I thought it was like wine and beer liquor store. But they had that. It was $33. It was like $10 cheaper
Yeah.
for that bottle. So that's where I'm going to start shopping for. Free
Actually,
advertisement,
last time I
Liquor
bought it,
Depot.
this was $28 at Specs.
Yeah.
The
that's an
the
old
only alcohol that has seen a spike in price in the pandemic is hand sanitizer.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the supply and demand
Yeah.
issue.
Masks.
Yeah.
The face mask.
Mhm.
That's insane. It's like a box of 10 face masks is like $12.
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm going to wear it for 5 minutes, I'm going to throw it away.
So yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
disposable.
remember when this first started, when the mask mandates started coming, and they really hadn't fully gone, because I went into Walgreens without a mask on, but I know some places are requiring it, and I bought it, and it was probably a pack of 30 for like $10 or something. But yeah, it was like $30 the last one I bought.
Mhm.
I don't remember how many masks were.
Yeah,
it
that's
was a big
price
thing of it.
gouging.
Price gouging, supply and demand, whatever you want to call it. You like capitalism when it works for you, you hate it when it doesn't. Not you, but I'm just saying in
Like,
general.
in general,
It
yeah.
is what it is. You know, you want to be a socialist, then you want to be a capitalist.
Well, it's kind of like
Well, that's
you want,
one thing
you want
I never
everything
did.
to be technology. You want
Through
everything
the
to be
pandemic,
smart,
is
and then when it stops working, you're like pissed off and
could
like, why did I do
have
this?
charged more just because, and I didn't.
You know who didn't charge and did really well? Zoom. We've talked about this before. Zoom is just the right place, the right time. What happened to Skype?
Speaking of not
Seriously.
charging, another shameless plug. Because this is beyond not charging for quality entertainment.
Exactly. You don't get entertainment
Okay,
like this
well,
anywhere for free.
I'm sure we have a button that says
unless you
support
go,
the channel.
unless you go visit Ashton's
that's
fans only
voluntary.
page.
Oh man, that's some weird stuff. You
So,
know? if you want to talk about a business of beyond after
on that
night,
topic,
you get to see little Nemo in that one. And
Oh,
we're talking about something above the waist.
On that topic, I have a friend. She works at Robin Hood, and she was had an
She has a
outing with
friends
one
only?
of her.
Fans only?
She had an outing with her teams, and she was joking around with her manager of like, because like when when you work for a financial institution, like you have to get permission to do outside gigs, like so they can approve and make sure it's not a conflict of interest. And so she was joking around like, hey, like, could I, start an OnlyFans or whatever? And he was like, yeah. He's like, what would be on it? And she's like, you know what that.
It's like Grindr.
But
you don't know what that.
But her joke is that she's just gonna like do foot videos. Like it's just videos of her feet. That's all.
That's what mine is. That's why it was weird. Like little.
That would be weird. Like your feet are a little weird looking.
Anyways, that link will be down. No.
Hey,
if you don't want to see anything of that, go ahead and support us. I'm sure there's a button somewhere that says support the podcast. If you'd rather this be the Business and Beyond podcast until we get Business and Beyond fans only page.
Yeah, I mean you can support by subscribing on YouTube or on the Anchor page. I believe there's a support button.
Yes. Yeah, I mean you don't have to financially support, but listen, help,
subscribe,
share, like, shares. Just help us out, and if you have a business or any fans only page, I guess I don't know how much we'd help you share that, but. We can share, like, posts. I mean, the same.
Would that technically be a small business?
I mean,
can you write off the use of your camera, your phone,
lube?
I mean porn is an industry. Man, see, I was trying not to make this an explicit, so now we're gonna have to check explicit on this.
I mean, we haven't said any.
Not yet, but it's coming. Man. It's going.
Hey,
it's
you know what?
Up.
There were some episodes of the Sports Page.
Man, our mother listens to this show.
Oh, does she?
Okay, we'll get this back in. We'll get this back. So you were talking about we were talking electronics and stuff. So I helped a friend who's not super computer savvy, but wanted a Chromebook, just a cheap something to check emails and stuff. So, man, I'll help you out ordering one. So they gave me money. We ordered one. It took 6 weeks for it to come in.
So
6 weeks.
They didn't have any at Best Buy.
Everything. Especially because all the kids working or doing school from home.
Yeah, so we had to order.
You're sitting in my office. I'm working from home now.
And
my company before the whole pandemic started had placed an order for brand new laptops for my department. The whole thing got done. They're just now starting to come in. From back, and they ordered them December of 2019.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how much y'all know about building materials, but you know what T-ply is? No. Basically sheathing on the house. So most people use OSB. Zippo is a little more expensive, but the cheap is like it's a little flimsy, and then they have red for that's non-structural, or red is structural. That's go in the corners, and then green just is a non-structural, a little bit cheaper. And that price really hadn't gone up much, $8 to $10 a sheet, real cheap. If your house isn't going to be brick, you shouldn't use it. Although we have big builders that do. If they just put siding, I mean, it passes code. But anyways, because the price really hadn't gone up on that, it at least here in Texas, it's out till June or July. Like you can't get it. It's like people are calling us, and we have customers. That's all they use. And none of my customers, thankfully, or were my customers. I'm not sure what we were sending those customers that had it. We're just like, okay, we don't have it. I'm not going to have it for 4 months. So, what are you going to do? Because OSB, because not only were those people not wanting to go to OSB, which is starting to hit that hard to get. I mean, there's still plenty of it. It's expensive. It's starting to be hard to get, especially a radiant barrier. But now everyone's calling, hey, what if I just switch to T-ply? How much does that save me? It's like a ton of money, but we don't have it. You can't build your house until summer. Yeah. And even then, I'm sure once we start getting trucks in, they'll be gone. As soon they're already committed for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something else you think, you're like, that's unacceptable. You can't build a house without it. But it is what it is. I mean, this pandemic is real. These last couple of years have really tested it to where, nope, that's not an option too. That's how it is. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
And it's forcing you to do something. It's forcing your hand.
And I still have contractors that I work with that I don't know if they just refuse to understand it. They refuse to care. They don't want to hear it. Why is this cost up? All costs are up. Why can't you get me a lead time? Nobody's giving out guaranteed lead times. They don't know. They can't. No one can guarantee I can get you this product this fast because they don't know tomorrow they may not be able to get it. Pricing changes. I get price updates every day.
Yeah, and when we do quotes, I think when I left, we were about 30 days out, which we were able to go 2 months, if they were a bigger builder. But for a while, we were pricing things 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard it is to get a bid and decide in 10 days
Yeah.
you're going to order it?
Yeah.
It's almost like, well, you're our guy. We just need to know what the price is. We're going to order it. And so I've done quotes that I give it to him, and they call me 2 weeks later, like, okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm like, well, here, I repriced it. And he goes, why did it go up? So it doubled. And then he says, okay, hold on. He waits another 2 weeks. Okay, I'm ready. I'm like, dude,
it's up again. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, okay, when you're about a week away from building, here's your quote. I'll go ahead and quote you so you have the material. So all I have to do when you call is update it. This pricing is not going to be good, but just wait 5 to 10 days before you're ready to build. Call me, and then I'll update your price. But I promise you, it's going to be the same everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm cheaper, more expensive, but everyone's going up about the same rate.
Yeah.
Unless you get somebody like right when we went up, maybe they're about to go up the next day or something, and you can lock in some weird price. But that's about it.
Yeah.
And usually the guys say, well, I'm going to go look around, and then they come back and like, yeah, okay.
And you're like, but in the time you've been gone, here's your new price.
I'm not an expert in every market, but building materials and lumber. Not that I'm an expert, but that's definitely what it is.
I think you're seeing. I mean, we all have different backgrounds and different knowledge of the market, and we all have talked about it prior to the show, even that it's pretty much the same in all industries and all products and everything. Everything's hard to get, and everything's more expensive right now.
And you'll see it in the supply and demand. I mean, look at airlines.
Yeah.
Cheap tickets because nobody's flying.
Yep.
Now, they're going to make their money back. So when everything's open back up, it's going to be expensive to travel.
Yeah.
But that just shows you to dumb it down, to oversimplify it. It's just basic supply and demand.
Yeah.
You can ask why some things are doing. I mean, because now if you know what Hardy is, Hardy siding, it just now started to become hard to get, and prices were going up just like everything else, not extreme, but that's the next thing to go up. And it's just different times. I mean, plywood was obviously the first to go, at least in building materials, and now it's Hardy. It's just different things.
And a lot of problem like we've talked about with interest rates being so low for financing, in homes. I mean, everyone has, money's more readily available. You've had stimulus packages go out. At the consumer level, there's plenty of money, which is what's driving that demand up. There's no help, no funding, no anything for any levels above that.
Yeah.
Where they need extra, right? They need to be producing more. We need to find a way to produce more computer chips. We need to find a way to, mill more lumber. We need to find a way for these guys to produce more pipe and wire, and that's where the issues are at. That supply and demand. But it's because we funneled so much money back into the consumer level that it can't keep up with that demand at all.
Yeah, and really, to succeed in markets like this, you'll hear it from Mark Cuban, entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires, that these kind of economies, when things aren't going the way they're supposed to be going, or things are a little bit off, that's where you get rich off of.
Yeah.
I mean, when the stock market starts going down, and not necessarily just because of the pandemic, what's your first instinct? Sell. Like, you don't want to lose any more money. Although, you can go off on it. If you're in the stock market, you haven't lost money until you sold it, because that money's already committed. But people like Mark Cuban would say, that's when millionaires are made.
Yep.
So, in fact, we have money in the stock market, and we kind of watch it every day to see what it's doing, but we know it's in there for the long haul.
Yeah.
And when things go down and it says we have less money in there, I'm more likely to say, hey, let's put some more money in there. The market's down. Because my thinking is we still own the shares. We didn't lose any money. You think, hey, we had 10,000, now we have 8,000.
It's worthless right now.
No, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Not worthless. Worth less right now.
The
And
value is lower.
The value. Well, you said that real quick in my head. Worthless. I almost said worthless. Worthless. Which is like in my 401k, I didn't panic. I was like, holy crap, it got cut in half. But I was like, well, I'm still putting money into it, so really it's just buying those shares at lower price.
Yep.
And that's what you put more money into. Assuming you're not in a situation where the company went bankrupt or something, and that company you're invested in is just going to go away. Because eventually it's going to go back up. I mean, common sense would tell you that. Long term, you're going to make money.
Yeah.
So in this market, I mean, if you own more than one property, sell your house. If you don't have to go buy, that's the gimmick with, is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? Most people who are selling have to go buy a house too.
That's the thing that, I always think it's funny when people talk about is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? Well,
if I sold my house, I would need
if you sell it, right? You sell it, now you got to go buy. I mean,
if I could get a ton of money for my house, although I have this beautiful building, I wouldn't do it. But I'm kind of thinking, would it be beneficial? Would it behoove me to sell my house and live in an apartment for a couple of years and then rebuy?
It's possible. Maybe if you turned that money and invested it.
But if you have multiple properties and just kind of have rental houses or whatever, you could sell one or two of those for, $30,000, depending on how big it is, a lot more, and make a huge profit on it.
Yeah.
But, of course, the same thing is, you don't invest in real estate to make money overnight. It's a long process.
Long
It's supposed to be like a steady stream.
But yeah, if you never know. If you happen to, I don't own a bunch of real estate, so there's probably real estate people listening to me right now like, this flippin' idiot. This idiot.
There's going to be a lot of nasty comments on this video.
Yeah, it wouldn't long term help you out, but you could theoretically sell your house for a lot more than it's worth.
Oh yeah.
Today.
No, because there's a demand for it. People
assuming you're going to take that money and then buy something that's low, buy an airliner out or something.
I mean, probably like buy Spirit or something.
With commodities, one of our good buddies, I don't think he's having a problem with his commodities and bringing in. That's Junior Zapata. Yeah, I'll get it.
Oh, you're right there.
But Junior Zapata, you seen his stockpile of phone cases and
I'm going to take
AirPods.
responsibility for that.
Remember, we mentioned that.
He did comment the next day when he listened that he was working on it. But I'm going to say
he worked fast and hard at it.
That's what I'm going to say. Maybe he had it in the plans and coming down the pipe, but maybe I inspired him to do it a little bit quicker. I'm just going to go and take half.
So he was bringing in little Game Boy gaming systems, selling out instantly.
Where are you going to put the logo? Are you going to cover Patrick's face?
Yeah. We'll put it across the top.
Okay. Vanna White. Keep going. I
lost my train of thought with that.
Game Boys.
Little Game Boy.
No,
cases.
AirPods. He was bringing AirPods, just selling them like
crazy. I did see that, yeah.
He's stockpiled on phone cases and just continuing to repair. I mean, he's really taking his business to the next level. We're proud of him. I mean, that's something we followed him kind of from early on. And he's become a good friend of the show and a good friend of us. And
he's helped you out.
Oh yeah,
with your kids.
Yep. Yeah, he repaired some devices for us and sold us screen protector, the glass screen protector covers, and
and you can find him on Facebook. His information is down below in the description box. Junior Zapata is about a phone repaired.
Yep, so check him out. Get you a phone case and screen repaired, maybe a set of AirPods, and let him know we sent you.
It's pretty inexpensive too. I mean,
very very cost effective.
It's funny.
He's very competitive. I
got my new phone at AT&T, and they were going to sell me insurance. The first thing I had is like, no, I know a guy. I'm like, well, if you crack your screen, like, no, I know a guy. It's okay.
My guy will take care of it. Yeah.
It's all right. Of course, my wife has insurance on hers because she's cracked every screen she's ever had. Mostly kids, but I don't let the kids touch my phone. But yeah,
Patrick would say, "Don't buy an iPhone. You don't have to worry about that."
Dude, you're one of those guys. You used to be all into iPhone. And
I had one iPhone.
Yeah, I did
one iPhone.
That was my first smartphone, and then I had Android forever. And I always say Android's ahead of the game on a lot of their stuff. But then I got a work phone in my last job, It was an iPhone. I got, had it for a couple of years, and I'm like, I can't go back to an Android. It's just so easy to. So I bought an iPhone.
Even you could say like you have all the Google, and having everything Google in that same ecosystem.
That's
matters,
why.
right?
That's why. So having
that's
everything
what I
all
like.
the same.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Apple. Is just
get.
because everything works so seamless for me.
Which is weird because I have all Google stuff on there, which works just fine.
Yeah.
So except for maps.
Funny stories.
Even you disable maps and say this is my map. If you
Google
go like if you're Googling and then you click on the link, it's gonna try to open it.
The Google Maps. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. But
I'm not
still
big on it. But I use Siri a lot, so I use the voice command.
And that's the thing. She won't open Google Maps.
No. So I just use the maps built into her. The phone.
So funny thing. So I do tech support, and y'all call me when y'all have trouble. So basically everyone calls me, and so
he's a show tech guy. He's a tech.
We're gonna start calling that 800 number to talk to him.
But so I'll have friends ask me like, oh hey, I'm trying to do this on my phone or whatever. Like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, you need to go into Gmail and do this or do whatever. And they're like, oh, where's that? And I was like, it's going to be in your Google folder. So
okay, that's never been me, by the way. I know where my Gmail is.
I want to know, like, y'all can say it in the comments below. How many people, like, if you look at your iPhone right now, how many of y'all have a folder for Google that has all your Google stuff in it?
Don't.
No, I don't.
It probably would help.
Actually, the only Google app I have is
Drive.
The Drive.
You don't use Gmail?
I use it through my phone. I like the map. I like it. I've used the Gmail app, but I like it how it's built on the phone.
My son just texted me
because I have multiple emails that are different servers, and they're just become all in one. I like it that way, but on my computer, I do use a lot of Google.
I have Google Play, not Google Play, Google Pay.
Oh yeah, I have Google Pay too.
Google Maps, Chrome, Gmail,
like I have
Google,
a banking finance folder.
Google Photos, and
so I use the Amazon
Stadia,
Photos on mine.
Google Drive, Google Home. Well, Stadia's Google, right?
But now he's thinking, man, I should just put all these in one Google folder.
I'm thinking about that, but I'm used to it. But
see, I like
that'll clear out one page
because he has his Google Pay is in his finance folder.
Yeah, that's how mine is. I have finance and I have all my banking stuff is on there. But I like doing folders like that. I mean, it's not a bad idea if you use a lot of the Google.
It actually isn't in my finance folder. It should be. But
if you use a lot of the
put it in there.
Google stuff, I mean, that actually is a good idea to put it in a Google folder.
That's usually what it is. Most people, like, I'm just like, I won't even have touched their phone. I'll be on the phone with them.
And you tell them,
and I'm like, it's probably going to be in your Google folder. And they're like, what? And I was like, you're probably going to have a folder called Google. And they like go through and they're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Also, if you have a tech question, we'll just say this is our special guest, the techie guy. So anytime we have him on, just go ahead and put him. We'll have his information down here when you just go back to the beginning.
We'll just put his cell phone number. You just
we'll put his what social media platform do you use? I know you don't use Facebook very often.
I don't.
We'll put his phone number. But down here,
go back
to the very beginning.
We'll put his direct extension
video,
to his work.
if you're watching on YouTube, right here. That will be his information. We'll put it down below. No, we can't put it down below because people can't know you're on because they're not going to watch. That was the problem last time because you were on. They recognize you from the sports page.
Would you send in your questions to us? We'll get them to him. We'll get it turned around and get it answered.
I don't like that. No, I don't like being that middle guy. If Patrick's going to ask me a question, I'm going to ask them. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'll forward them on to you.
Yeah, he'll just think I'm going to provide him the wrong answer just to make him look stupid, which might actually happen.
So, I'm more the marketing guy in this. I mean, y'all are more design than marketing. Mm-hmm. But I think when we have you on,
more
sales, like more sell. Well, the point I'm making is
I didn't know how you were.
Yeah,
I'm getting into what I'm talking about.
Trying to figure out where he's going with it.
Patrick's on OnlyFans page. No, we could have Patrick have like a tech segment when he's on, anytime he's on, and I'm just gonna throw you on the spot. Patrick's Tech Minute. Just talk for 1 minute about what's going on, anything related to technology
Just give him a topic.
Yeah, you could lie to me. I wouldn't have any clue. I'm gonna comment on the video later and be like, Patrick, you dumbass, you pissed me off. It's fake. And just come on, off the top of your head, something.
I mean, this isn't really tech. It's more like entertainment related. But did y'all see that Netflix signed the deal with Sony to have all their new movies come in? Like, so after their theatrical release, it's going to go directly to Netflix. And that includes the Sony Marvel movies, like the second Venom, the sequel to, the second Venom and the Spider-Man.
So they'll hit box offices. When they come out of box office, they go straight to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That would help me because all the Marvel movies, I just go straight. I'll go to the theater.
No, have you guys seen though how all the we've talked about it before? The HBO Max, how everything's going. Space Jam 2 is going to come out in theaters July 16th and on HBO Max the same time.
I'll watch it.
We're setting up. No,
I'm watching.
That's such a bad.
I'm watching
the trailer.
Here's what we're doing. We're having a pool party at my in-laws. I'm gonna rent or buy, maybe rent from Hawks a movie screen, and we're gonna stream that thing from the pool.
Here's what you do.
On the
you have a
screen.
Projector of it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a pool party and watch Space Jam.
You have pre-party.
How dope is that?
Have a pre-party. Watch the first Space Jam at the beginning. Is it a sequel or is it just a remake?
No, it's a sequel.
I don't know.
Is
honestly,
it's a sequel.
Okay, I don't know that much about.
I don't know if they're like having the the game like against like the same aliens or whatever, or if it's
but
same concept. It has to do with different players because I know Klay Thompson's one of them, and there's a couple WNBA players.
Taurasi, is she one?
Yeah, Taurasi's one of them.
Right.
I wish they had Luka on there. Come on. I don't know if it's the same premise where they steal their powers.
Luka's going to be in Space Jam 3 as the good guy. He's the one that's going to be the savior.
But no, it is supposed to like have been like after.
I was hoping.
Does he drink Coke? He must drink Coca-Cola.
I was hoping that they would have made it a couple years earlier, and Dirk would have been one of the guys on there, like the Sean Bradley character or whatever. Oh, what happened? Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley.
Happened.
That's terrible.
Anyway.
We didn't even talk about at the beginning of the show. DMX.
Yeah, that was today. Yeah.
Sad, man.
At first, it was saying it was overdose, then it was heart attack.
Well, I think it was a heart attack from overdose.
Okay, so I didn't know if it was
It was a heart attack, but I think it was induced by an overdose.
I didn't click on any stories.
He battled those demons his whole life.
Right, which led to like the vegetated state he'd been in for a while, and he was like when you're in that kind of state, like the machines just aren't enough.
Yeah.
Like
so like
you're going to decline
a few days
over time.
ago, and they were just saying his brain hadn't picked up.
Yeah, that's really sad. So probably any of the young listeners have no idea who we're talking about.
Yeah,
or either they're really old or they're really young.
I mean,
have no idea. Amberly mentioned today to one of her
kids
at
school.
Maybe the
really
middle
school.
50. It makes me feel old that it was 50.
Maybe the really old people will know about with the Duke of Edinburgh passing today.
Oh yeah,
Prince Philip.
Prince Philip died.
Oh really?
This morning.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that.
So I always have this deal. I was telling my wife is when somebody's been married that long, it's not long before the other one goes. Like when George Bush went like a month or two after Barbara Bush. So I'm thinking but I guess it's not has nothing to do with us, but it's affects everyone. I think we'll have a new king soon.
So there's a rumor going around that the Queen Queen Elizabeth was talking about like basically dissolving the monarchy to like where she's the end of the line.
I mean, there's not a lot. I mean, they have prime ministers and actual government. I know they play a role.
They're a lot of what they do is like
nostalgic type.
Yeah,
how is their? I don't know a lot about that. Are they essentially like the president level, like?
No, the prime minister's like the president.
Right. Yeah.
But
like there's president and like
but they're above them, or they're kind of
they're
like
alongside. It's like the prime minister and like their
is more of their
the House of Lords.
That's like their active.
Like that's like their elected.
Like the police
officials,
the
and
police
then, like,
and the military.
The god.
The police and military fight for the crown and defend the crown, like the family. But they're gonna skip. Who's the son? They're going to skip him. It's going to be William, right? It's supposed to skip the son of the queen, and he's not going to be king for something to do with they want a long term. Like that's what they've been talking about.
That way you don't go to one and that's only.
But William and Kate
would be
Prince William and
Princess. I think they're going to be the next ones to ascend.
If you're not blood, you can't be queen or king, right?
No, what is
my wife was talking about because Prince Philip was never king because he wasn't blood.
Yeah, that's why he was still called.
But my wife was telling me because she's apparently, I don't know, she watches The Crown, but she's like, really, she said, they say Kate would still be queen. I said, I don't think she's
because she's married to the king.
But Philip was married. Oh, he wasn't married to.
Like he was married to the queen, but it's not like how like Kamala's husband is the second husband or whatever. Like
so, you're telling
it's
me
not just like an
it's
automatic
different.
label.
It's old school.
Like
you're telling me
you can't be
women's
a king
rights aren't
if the queen is in the family, but if you're the king, then your wife can be the queen.
because
right,
king overrates
because king
queen.
trumps. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
king,
very
king trumps
progressive of them.
the
That's not very progressive of them. Of course, they were worried about their baby being black. So
yeah, and not offering him. By the way, did either of y'all watch that interview?
oh, that was bogus. I don't want to watch a billionaire and then two royalties, which I guess are technically not royalty, talk about how everybody was oppressed.
Well, no, how like there
From their mansion.
Apparently, someone in the family had asked like, "Oh, how dark do you think the baby's going to be?"
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
and then they're like, "Oh, well, we're not going to give him the prince title." And then they're like also
well,
not
he didn't
giving
come out looking black at all.
Yeah, he
Oh, not
doesn't.
that that's bad that he did
No,
or
like,
didn't, but
yeah,
that's
like
kinda-
it's literally it was like first of all, like if it would have, who cares?
yeah.
But like it's completely beside the point now because like it's the baby doesn't look like they were expecting him to.
I mean, that's weird. It's
Like,
like
they
albino
even-
redhead or African American.
Like
Yeah.
they were even
It's getting pulled in both directions.
Yeah.
they were even like
It's gonna look like
removing the,
who's that kid from Oklahoma, Rattler,
Rattler.
the quarterback for Oklahoma.
but they're even like
That was
removing like their
Tony that
security
said that,
details
by
and
the way,
stuff.
in case we get
So
canceled.
like they're not even protected.
Well, come on, cancel culture. That's just going to elevate because half the
Oh
people
my
are.
God.
It's gonna. Our ratings are going to go through the roof.
Speaking of cancel culture, did you see our governor is boycotting the MLB for pulling the All-Star game from
See-
Atlanta, and which
Did you-
I don't know
did-
all the details of the
So
whole story.
did
But
you
why
see that
is he
that
even-
Texans or not? Did you see the opening day for the Rangers?
Yeah,
Like full house.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Minus
So here's
Minus
my,
the governor.
here's my
but,
thing.
You know, who cares?
Here-
who was
here's
supposed to
my
throw out
thing.
the
I
first
don't-
pitch
I don't get on.
originally.
Big loss.
I don't get on tangents politically on Facebook because it doesn't matter if. I'm telling you right now, whoever you're listening, you're not 100% right about anything. I'm not 100% right. You know,
You're
if
right.
there's no far right and far left. I think most people are close to the middle, and that's where most of the right are. Republicans aren't right about everything. Democrats are right about everything, or most anything. So I don't care.
That's what he just.
I don't care what 100%. If I feel I'm right, I'm not going to say anything because there's no point.
Yeah.
No one's going to say, "Oh, I see your side of it." But I'm not going to not watch sports just because of political things. Whether I agree with it or not, I'm tired of being on there. I agree with people. I'm tired of you kneeling. I'm tired of you arguing. I'm not kneeling for the purpose that I'm not taking a side
I
regardless.
see what you're saying. You're tired of.
I'm
Why
tired
do
of people
politics
arguing-
have to be part of sports?
Yeah.
Why can't we have it
And
separate?
I'm not gonna say-
Why can't I sit for 4 hours and
here's-
watch sports and not think about the outside world? Just focus on this.
And
A good way to sit down, to sit down and watch something for 4 hours is to watch the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Yeah.
The what?
The Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
That's a
4-hour
completely
movie.
different movie. Anyway,
So good.
But
No, you know what it is? It's to get on TikTok for 5 minutes,
No,
and
and
4
yeah,
hours
for 4
later,
hours.
you're like, "Fuck, I gotta go to bed."
No,
Yeah.
no. I've done it. I literally.
I do that with Instagram.
I've-
It's pretty much like TikTok
I have
now.
avoided TikTok for the
I
longest
can't
time,
do it
but
until it's time to go to bed.
I finally downloaded the TikTok app,
man, I was
A
ready to
month
go
or
on
two
a
ago.
rant. Y'all just ruined my
And-
story, man. Okay, but go ahead.
and
I'm
I
about to
literally like the first time I downloaded it, went in, and I was scrolling for hours.
So I will not get on it until it's like
I have
time
all
to go to bed.
notifications turned off for it.
And I do too. And when we are ready to like go lay down, just chill out for the night, like that's when it's okay. I'm gonna do this until I get so tired, like my eyes are getting tired, and I'll go to sleep. Otherwise, I can do it right now, and we'll be here for 4 hours. I'll just keep scrolling through it.
So,
Go
So back to Ashton.
so
Sure.
let's back up to the Georgia bill, which I'm not getting detail.
Get it? Do you know about it? I don't know much about it.
Details
I
I've
don't
kind of
know.
gone into it, but the main point, it doesn't matter. People on the right are saying it's not discriminating against anyone. People on the left saying it's very discriminatory. Both people are wrong. Both sides are wrong. You can go abortion, I've talked about it before.
Mhm.
The right thinks the left is socialist, whatever. The left thinks the right is racist, whatever. and I'm not saying far
No
right and
one's-
far
no
left
one's
is,
right or
is
wrong.
wrong. Yeah. The intentions may be different or not. So that's why I could care less. I would rather MLB not do that. I don't care. I'm sure the bill does discriminate against some people when you break it down, and I'm sure everybody has
It's
the
a
right
voter
That's-
law. That's what it is.
Yeah, like basically almost banning mail-in voting, limiting very much. So you can. I know Patrick wants to go off on it. I know, but if you want to talk about intentions, that's why it's politics. If it was clear cut and dry, it wouldn't be politics. Racism isn't politics. If you're a racist, you're a horrible person. We're not debating whether Now we were debating.
There is no debate about that.
Yeah, people are debating whether a policy is racist or not. I don't know. I'm not defending it or not. I don't agree that MLB should have done
They
that.
should have been
It's
involved.
because I do believe most sports skew one way. I don't care if it's the way I believe or not. I'm like, be the same overall. Whatever. Because you talk about NBA and LeBron James in China. They know shit about China. China does horrible things to people. And I only say that because nobody's listening in China. We don't have
We have no listeners.
Yeah,
I mean,
no. But
this
China
is
has
because-
human rights issues.
Like
and
the Chinese government won't look at it.
and sports don't give a shit.
Oh, they don't let them listen.
Sports
That's
don't.
why.
Yeah, sports don't give a fuck because
Yeah.
there's a billion people in China,
Explicit warning.
and LeBron. There's an explicit warning because he got me off on a tangent. And LeBron James, he's very. You want to call him woke, whatever. I don't necessarily disagree with him politically. I'm not gonna say shut up and dribble because everybody has a right to ball.
Exactly.
And I applaud people for whatever your view is. You should be involved in politics. It's not like sports where you say, "Well, I'm just not into it." Well, sports doesn't affect you. Politics does. You should be into politics. You shouldn't vote if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Not that LeBron James does or doesn't, but on the view of China, he has no clue.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does, but he's being told by his people, "Hey, we're going to lose
Maybe
money."
he's been hanging out with Dennis Rodman. Rodman's buddies with
Korea.
North Korea.
Yeah, North Korea. But again, if you want to do business with China, half the stuff I buy is from China. I don't stop buying things from China because of that. But I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not going to say, "Hey, I disagree with this," when China's kind of doing the same thing over here, but because it's over here, I guess we hold ourselves to a higher standard. So again, I don't agree with Abbott for boycotting because more people who lean to the right will bash cancel culture like nothing. They'll say
He's the one. He's the
exactly
the right's doing it. Yeah.
Exactly. And they're saying, "Oh, Aunt Jemima," which I don't think they, there's a popular meme going around like they're taking Miss
They're
bands.
they're neutering Mr. Potato Head. And,
But no, all the African American Aunt Jemima, Ben, the
Uncle
rice,
Ben.
Uncle Ben's
Yeah.
rice, but they're not doing anything with all the white faces. It's like, you know what y'all are doing? Y'all are just gonna have white faces, and then people are gonna complain about that.
Yeah.
But anyways, they're saying, "Oh, you're canceling all this stuff." Then now we're canceling baseball because they did something we don't agree with. And I'm just tired of it. I just want to watch sports. I don't care if the guy's kneeling. I'm going to go, I understand what he's doing and I agree with what he's doing, but I'm like, why are y'all even filming this? This is, there's other ways to do it. And, Colin Kaepernick has a bunch of things he does and spends money on. And you want to bitch about it, he kneels on the field, but he actually puts his money where the mouth is, whether you agree with him or not. And I tend not to. Like, I don't agree that. I mean, we can go a long tangent. I don't agree that's the place you should be doing, but I agree there's an issue.
Right.
But quit mixing them. We watch sports, and I guess people call it white privilege to be able to say, "Oh, I'm going to look the other way." But that's why I'm watching sports. I have a hard job most days, and I follow politics a lot. I don't talk a lot about people. You won't know if you look at my Facebook. I won't even share stuff because I'm like, people are going to take it out of context.
Yeah.
And go off on a thing. It's not even going to be against me. Like, people are going to argue back and forth. I'm going to get notified every time.
And
it's
you
just
don't
really
want your
stupid.
friends to be dictated based off of what you share or...
And I prefer
Because
my
that's how
friends
people
not
are now.
necessarily do that. They
Because
can
I have a lot
share.
of friends that have opposing political views than I do. I don't want to lose those friends, so I'm just not going to post it or
Exactly.
talk about
And
it.
I have a very diverse
I have a
amount
lot
of
of
friends.
friends that are
I have
like-
very diverse.
I bet 50-50
politically.
of my friends, it's split right down the middle.
Exactly.
And some family
And-
friends, like there's
and
tons of things.
And people
I
feel
don't
that
want
way
to lose
about
any of them.
And people
I
feel that
care
way
them
about
so much that I don't want to lose them, that I won't get involved in it.
And people feel that way about social media, and I tend to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm escaping from this, but they're the same people that post about it.
Yeah.
So they'll go and say, "Hey, just clean my friends list or whatever," and I'm kind of rolling my eyes like, "Okay, that's your right, that's fine," but you post just as many political things. Like, if you never post anything political and said, "Okay, I'm tired of it," whatever, you post too much or whatever, I get it. You can do whatever you want. and I'm kind of that way. I want Facebook, and I'm not on TikTok, but Instagram and Twitter. Like, I'm just looking for fun stuff, sports stuff, gimmicky stuff. Big news stories, like, you know, when something happens, like Prince Philip dies, or something huge. Dirk retired. I noticed on my Facebook a year ago he announced his retirement. That's something you want to just be on Facebook, looking to see what everybody's posting. Something big's happening.
You want to see good things people are doing, achievements your friends and family have in life. You want to see those things. You want to see happy things. You want to see when they have sad things going on.
You know, to your friends.
That's what I'm saying.
Some people aren't like that.
Well, yeah,
that just makes them
or
exactly.
things that are sad. You know, they lose a loved one. You want to know because maybe you don't keep up with them every day, but you want to see. Oh, that happened. You know what? I really need to reach out to them. I need to. They just need a call or a text, right?
So, odd side tangent from that particular topic. Remember before
I think
Facebook?
we should change this to the Business and Sidebar podcast.
Remember
Well, that's a
the
beyond.
sidebar.
Well, that's a beyond.
The sidebar.
Remember before Facebook added like all of the extra reactions, and all you could do was like something, and like someone would be like, "Oh, my aunt just passed."
And you're like,
thumbs up.
I know, seriously.
Love it.
Yeah, I know. I feel that way. But sometimes
And they had to add the little tear, right? The
well,
sad,
but sometimes I do that. It'll be like.
Do you ever accidentally you're sliding across and you hit the
I did one.
out laughing?
No, I did one. It was
shit,
like
no.
I did one like I hearted something,
Yeah.
or I cared about something. Like it was really weird. Maybe it was like not comfortable with your sexuality type thing. Like I need to change that. But some people will say like this long post about celebrating someone's life, and I'm like, should I like this? Like other people liked it. I'll go ahead and like it because I'm not gonna be the one guy.
Well, because when you like when someone posts like, "Hey, like my aunt passed," versus like, "Hey, like here's a picture of like the funeral program of celebrating her life." Like when you're celebrating your life, that's meant to be like you're
that's what I like about Instagram.
Things. So that's something you should be
Instagram.
like.
It's just a heart. Yeah. Same thing with TikTok. It's a heart. That's it.
Yeah,
Keep it simple.
So
I think the same with Twitter too. Facebook's the only one that gives you too many.
But back to the whole cancel culture thing. It's funny to me that just it's the cancel culture has become such a just like a buzzword, because I mean up till I don't know, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago, like cancel culture wasn't like the phrase cancel culture wasn't a thing. Like people, you know, always used to be like, she's like, oh well, like I'm gonna vote with my dollars. Like if I don't like what this company's doing, I'm gonna buy another company. Like I wasn't boycotting this company, I wasn't canceling this company. Yeah. It's essentially the same thing. It's just
there's nothing
the politicized side of it.
And
cancel culture gets a bad rule. I have nothing against. I mean, more power to you. If you don't want. What's the latest thing with Coke? Not the you're being too white thing. There's something else that happened because people are starting to say they're not drinking Coke.
It's because Coke spoke out against the voting law.
Okay, like a lot of things. Which whatever. If you don't want to buy Coke anymore, you know, more power to you. If you want to put your, I don't care how you agree politically. If you're gonna,
we support people who, or I support people who talk
out
against.
You know, we don't typically follow politically what big companies normally follow, but my wife likes Coke, so we drink Coke. I'm not going to stop drinking. And there's not, if you want to, you want to. But like I like to, you go into Monday morning after the Cowboys win or lose or something crazy happens, you want to talk about it, and then you talk about it, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not watching the NFL because they kneel," and which again, nothing. That's fine with you, but it's like, okay, maybe you don't talk about the NFL with that guy. That's fine with you, but you're trying to make me feel bad because I still watch the NFL. I don't care. Like I do have an opinion on that.
That's the thing.
But it's
the cancel culture goes out and publicly bashes.
It's like shaming people for not feeling the same way you do.
And they're trying. Oh, we're not going to watch them, and you shouldn't either. And no, if you don't, just silently stop giving them your money.
Right.
The same with like.
Well, so it's just like with a business, for example. Like you have the right to choose to not serve somebody. Like
I didn't like TX so damn much.
That's essentially
if Woodford Reserve was a smaller local company, we might be pretty good.
I mean that's essentially what the MLB has done here. They're like, okay, we don't like what's going on here. We're going to choose not to service you. We're going to take our business out. Like,
but why did they publicly have to announce? Like,
well, I mean, you have to
announce that's the reason. Is that saying that's the reason?
Well, here's
because what could have said is, you know what? Due to some unforeseen circumstances, we're going to move our All-Star game to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing.
And I don't care. They can do what they want. But I hit it.
It's when you get political that you say, well, because of that,
hypocritic.
we're moving. Yeah.
And hypocrite. Because you're talking about, they were in Atlanta. It was a small black-run business type situation. There's this many small black businesses. They're trying to support that. They moved to Colorado, and people pointed out it's like 9% businesses are black-owned, or it's like you're really not doing it. And to you, who's posting, I'm not drinking Coke anymore because of that. Nothing against you. I probably, it's okay.
Just stop buying it.
But you probably are just advertising for Coke a little bit more. They don't care that you're doing that. You're just putting that. And guess what? Coke is trending right now.
Let's bring this back. You aren't an Apple supporter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't go out and bash it. I ask you questions.
To me.
No,
I'll make side jokes, but like
I've asked you questions about it, and you'll be like, "Oh no, this is good," and this is like you'll give honest opinions. You just don't buy it. You just don't purchase it, right? You don't go and tell everybody you shouldn't buy it. You should don't get that. That's terrible.
Literally, we had this conversation earlier, or before the show started. You were talking about I'm thinking about getting a Mac. I was like, oh, okay. Like you mentioned one particular model, and I was like, well, there's been this issue with it. I haven't been like, oh no, that's trash. You shouldn't do it.
Right.
I gave you information,
mm-hmm.
but it's still your choice to make.
Right.
And I will say the MLB thing is like especially their choice to move to Colorado in particular is a political choice, not only to move out of Georgia, but specifically to go to Colorado. Where in Colorado, 94% of the votes were mail-in votes in 2020. So since Georgia's trying to completely remove mail-in voting, let's go somewhere where we prove mail-in voting works.
Yeah.
And talk about,
So completely political.
And talk about Apple and cancel culture. If tomorrow there's a recording of the CEO of Apple making a racial slur and everyone's like, cancel culture, I'm not going to go get a Samsung or whatever. I'm going to disagree with, obviously what he said if he makes racial. It's just like okay, I don't have to agree with the CEO. If you're going to start saying, okay, I'm not agreeing with Coke because they take this stance. Maybe you should really dig deep into everything, what clothes you buy. That's what it's all hypocritical.
Yeah, because literally, so many brands you buy, and I'm not going to dox any brands here because don't want any lawsuits or anything, but so many brands you buy, especially name brands, they're made off essentially slave labor because they're made overseas for minimum price. They don't have good benefits, they don't have good anything. With the whole thing, with the people having issues with stuff in China, it's because the Uyghur people are essentially they've been detained in in camps or work camps where they're given homes in a specific and forced to manufacture items.
Well, we can agree that I don't know. Coke has a lot of people on their payroll. I think they're posting about it to be cute. Yeah, hey, see, we're posting out against this. The main thing is voter suppression. Is the issue. That's what people think this bill is about, is voter suppression. But are you still selling Coke in China? You talk about voter suppression and human rights, and again, hold America up to a higher standard. I agree,
right? But it's all
stopping
Coke,
people.
All Coke did, and the reason it was Coke and Delta and things the reason that they said something is that their headquarters are in Georgia. But all they did was make a comment. They never said, we're going to take our business elsewhere. We're not going to move that. They didn't say that. They're just
they supported
we don't think that this is a good law.
MLB moving. And I don't know MLB's relationship with China. I know NBA. I'm not bashing on Coke. That's just what we talked about.
But so many people are getting so upset about Coke and Delta and all. It's Coke didn't say, oh yeah, the MLB should do it. They're like, okay, that's their right to do it.
Yeah,
they're a business.
Well,
they
Coke
can choose
that was just an example because I don't even know MLB's relationship with China. I don't even know if they play a lot of games there. I know NBA plays a ton of games there, but just in general, people get real in the moment and posting, when you're helping out homeless people and taking a selfie, say, hey, look, I'm helping people out. It's like they want to be part of that, their fear of missing out, and they want to be cool. Hey, I agree with that. I'm gonna post that I agree with that. Of course you agree with that, but
are
you're boycotting something you probably didn't care about in the first place. You're probably a Dr. Pepper person. If you're worried, oh yeah, I can get.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I never drink 7-Up. If 7-Up did something, oh yeah, I'm never drinking 7-Up again.
A perfect example is the Papa John's. Like, what was it, 3 years ago? Like, he was on the conference call, throwing the N-word around multiple times. And like, the same reactions. People are like, oh, cancel Papa John's, don't buy it, whatever. It's an awful thing to do. I'm still not going to buy Papa John's. I wasn't buying it before because I don't like
nothing to do with that.
I don't like their pizza. Yeah. But it's like, it's still awful they did it. It's good that, like, there were repercussions for him.
We don't make Papa John's. And I couldn't even tell you what it tastes like off the top of my head just because there's not the proximity of them. There's so many other pizza places. Mm-hmm. But if my wife went, say, hey, here's a Papa John's, I'm going to grab pepperoni pizza. Like, okay. Yeah. I'm going to go, no. Because the guy that doesn't even work there anymore, I guess he's CEO, he's not even part of it, which I'm sure he's part somewhere behind the scenes.
I mean, he's still getting
making money
from it. So.
No, don't do that because, because once you start doing that, you really need to do where are your priorities at. That's why it's like, I drink Coke, which I usually don't drink Coke, but I like the taste of Coke. I like my iPhone. If Woodford Reserve or TX got caught up in a scandal, I'd probably still be drinking tea, because I like that. I'm not going to go out of my way unless it's something crazy and I got poisoned or food poisoning or something.
Well, I mean, it's just like the reason I don't buy Apple products. Like, I had the white iPhone 3GS. There was a software issue on it. I troubleshooted with Apple. This is a software issue. I was gonna have to send it in.
Software issues. It was 12 phones ago.
But it wasn't something I could fix by like hooking it up, because it's when you still had to hook it up and like flash it
to iTunes on your computer
and all that. It was something like you couldn't be reset there, so I had to send them the device.
I have it on my computer.
The programs?
Mm-hmm. Wow. I have the iTunes on my.
And all our old songs.
It has all my old songs. Yeah. But it's all tied in with my Apple Music now too.
But I had to send them the device, and I had forgotten to take the screen cover off. Like, I had like the screen for it, and the screen cover was scratched from my keys. And because there were the scratches on the screen protector, they returned the phone without doing anything, saying there's physical damage to the phone. Your warranty's void.
And you can't take the screen protector off, send it back in, and say no.
Because they flagged my phone as like my warranty as void.
And it was
a bad customer service experience. I don't want anything to do with Apple anymore.
Because I remember your post on Facebook when you no, I don't, because you didn't post it
because you didn't go and publicly bash them.
And that's exactly something that's the first thing.
Yeah, no, and that's it today. That's the first thing somebody would do. They would publicly go and bash them,
and throw them under the bus, finding the shrimp in your cereal,
the finger in your french fries.
That I can see that could be a health thing for like people who are allergic to shellfish and things. That's a warning, not of like, oh my god, bash the cereal. It should just be like, hey guys, be careful, beware. Like, I'm alerting the company to this, but like, if y'all have it, watch out.
And back in the day, I talked about
that's not the way that post.
I posted on Facebook when we got a pizza that was just the crust baked, no cheese or anything. I'm like thinking, how does that even get past your? Because on this particular place, they have a little. I'm probably gonna give it away, but on their app, they say, hey, it's you're being checking checked, up, whatever. Like, hey, we're making sure it's perfect.
Quality control.
On their tracking.
Oh, come on, no. But I posted on there. I posted on there, and
we're not bashing them.
And people commented, "Who was it?" And I said, "I'll text you. I'm not going to bash them because they made it right." I called them, and I posted more because it was funny. And if they wouldn't have made it right, I probably would have said, "Hey, this was this person's pizza." But not. It's like, "Hey, this is a social media moment." This is crazy how this happened.
It was hilarious because it wasn't like you weren't really.
And the same thing, but I'll say this because I'll say this about McDonald's. We still eat at McDonald's occasionally. I don't like McDonald's, but it's whatever. I mean, I got a hamburger one time without meat on it.
That's where you and.
But they're big enough. I can't take it.
Where you and your wife went on y'all's first anniversary when you were dating, wasn't it?
Oh, there's
tailgate of your truck.
Not tailgate. We were inside the truck.
Yeah, we're in the truck.
And that was the secret. Is Tony pulled up on us. But
double quarter pounder.
Well, her dad is a psycho, but that's kind of why we. Anyways, we're gonna take her somewhere else. But anyways,
he doesn't listen.
Hey, I don't care if he does. Fuck you. No. Explicit. I mean, I hope nobody.
I honestly feel like Ashton's been the only one that's been cussing this whole time.
This is why I'm not gonna tell you who my company is, just in case. I don't want them tied to. But
tied to this train.
Yeah, I know we need to wrap this up. But back to the McDonald's thing is, I don't think I posted. This is 2010 probably.
Pre social media.
I had social media, but it wasn't the thing to post. But Man, I was mad. I'm like, I'm going to go in there and get something free. They didn't put the meat on my hamburger. What? Like, that guy was off that day. Like, you have your chain line, like tomatoes, whatever, which is a Big Mac, so no tomatoes. But anyways, the meat guy was called in sick. So I went out there, I'm like, I'm getting something for free. I walked in there and told them, and the lady said, oh man, that's nothing. One time we sent out a burger in the drive-thru, didn't have the buns. I'm like, okay, I can see how you forget the meat, I guess. But how do you put it in there with no bun? I want to get paid $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Anywho, I've told that story before on this show, so
I mean,
if you're regular,
but
you know.
serving the hamburger without buns is actually something that Whataburger does regularly. That's an option. You can order it without the bun.
Keto.
And it
with
comes
the
like
lettuce
on
wrap?
lettuce and stuff, like in like a little tray.
Whataburger does that? I know In-N-Out does that.
Yeah, you can do it on their like on the app. Like you can go through because like on any sandwich, like you can choose like the toast or like the white roll or the wheat roll.
We
Whatever.
can substitute that on all of them.
Or you can do like meatless or bunless, and it'll come like in like their little like. I guess it's like where the breakfast stuff comes in, like the little plastic container with like your lettuce and tomato and then the patties and stuff on top.
You know what? To end the show, I'm going to tell a joke.
Where's the
No, it
joke
ties in.
time?
It ties in. It has a business thing. We're talking about McDonald's.
Why are
We
you
were talking
laughing? Don't
about
laugh.
skipping.
If you laugh, he's gonna leave.
Yeah. No, I'm going to be upset. No. Okay, so this
Maybe-
guy...
maybe
This
we
guy,
should
once when he was
before the
9.
joke.
this
so
guy
then-
goes to
When he was
McDonald's
9 years
on his-
old.
This guy goes... I'll tell you why. No, Patrick doesn't know. We'll find
No,
out.
I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
You know, we have poker night here in a minute, so we got to wrap this up. But so this guy is at his lunch break eating in the parking lot of McDonald's. He's just watching these people. They're digging. One guy is sitting there just working really hard, digging this hole. He gets up. The other guy fills the hole back up. He's like, what the heck are they doing? They jump in their truck, drive off. He's like, I got to find out. He follows them. Same thing. One guy gets out, digs, works hard, digs this hole. He's finished. The other guy fills it back in. Okay, after about seeing this 4 times, he goes up and says, man, what the hell are you doing? He explains the situation. He's like, oh, wait, no, man, you got it all wrong. No, we're a 3-man crew. I dig the hole. He fills up the hole. The guy that plants the tree is just off today. See, he's trying really hard not to laugh. Anyways.
I just find that funny because at some point, like, like Dad did, you and Tony all work for a landscape company. That's why I just find that funny because I'm trying to imagine the guys there doing that.
No, but it's funny. I mean, you get that, like, you know, your tire falls off your car or something. They're like, man, I went to Sears, but the guy who tightens the lug nuts was off that day, or I missed that day of training or whatever. Anywho, if you stuck with us this long, good job. You get a thumbs up.
And give us the thumbs
Yeah,
up.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
give us the thumbs up.
Yeah, the check is in the mail for listening to the show.
Yep.
Until next time,
And
I'm
TX
Ashton.
will send you a bottle of whiskey.
Yes, they
I'm
better.
Tony. And our tech guy.
Patrick.
His
Send
phone
him
number will be
some-
right here.
Yes, complain to TX if you don't get the bottle. Don't complain to us.
See you guys later.